hello. Welcome back to Ubildink ASMR. I am, believe it or not, the aforementioned Oob, and we are doing another book haul today. So let's just get into it, dudes. Let's just get into it. We have a combination of older books, like, again, if you have been watching the ongoing series of my book hauls, many of my books come from my old, like my grandparents' old stuff, which is at my parents' house. So we have a few of those, and we have a few things that I bought new as well, relatively recently, or at least since the previous book haul, the previous book haul. Okay. So, I actually kind of want to. I just want to switch up my order here quickly. Okay, I think we're ready. I have the stack over here. Firstly, we have the importance of being honest by my boy, my guy, Oscar Wilde. I got this at a bookstore that's like down the road from me, and it's a pretty bad place for me to go because, like, I go to shop there pretty often because it's close, and the bookstore I always visit it, and the chances of me buying something is very high, and I already have way too many books that I haven't read yet, so I want to stop buying as much so I can actually read what I have. But you know, what's your addiction? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love Oscar Wilde. The picture of Dorian Gray, which is over here, is like one of my favorite, probably like tied number one for my favorite novel, tied with Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So yeah, I will like read anything that Oscar Wilde writes. And here we have some of his plays. I haven't read any of his plays yet, so I'm excited to. There's a dog barking. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Also, this has nice gold pages, if you can see there. And also, this is like a cover. And then the actual book is this nice light blue. It might look different because of the light I have here and the color grading I'll probably do. But yeah, it's a nice light blue with gold pages, and it wasn't that expensive either. So, very happy with that. And it has the little ribbon thing to keep your place, which is always very nice. Always very nice. And also it's the perfect size to like take along with me, like put in my handbag or something. So very, very excited about that. Now I'm gonna put the cover back on. Also, look at this wonderful pattern. Wonderful. Let's put the cover back on to, protect it from the elements. Next up we have one from my, that I found at my parents' house. Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. I remember this has sort of been in my periphery for a while, because I remember when I was in high school, the drama students in my grade, they did, this is one of the plays that they did, and I had a couple of like friends that did drama, so I sort of had heard the name of this title of this play for some years now. And also I read, I'm not gonna try to find it, wait, unless it's like right here. No. I've also read Beckett's novel What? W-A-T-D, which was just so weird and so cool. And it was just really strange, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, it made me want to go for this. Again, I found it in my grandparents' collection, old collection. Wonderful, the wonderful yellowed pages of a old classic piece of literature, old classic book. This was, the name in here is someone that I don't know. So, wish we could trace the history back to, because it's not like my grandparents' names or anything, it's someone else, but, oh well, it ended up in their bookshelves, so, sorry to that person. But yeah, very excited to read it. Also, I love the minimal covers. Just a very nice, wonderful serif font, simple serif font, all lowercase, and then this nice little image over here, very simplistic, very lovely, very beautiful. Look forward to reading that. Oh, we've had 2 plays in a row now. Next up, another that I found at my parents' house by our brother, our guy, George Orwell, aka Eric Blay. Yeah, we read Animal Farm in school as part of our English subject, and I've also read 1984, so yeah, I'm a fan of his work. Also, we had a few essays that we covered when I did English literature in university. What was it called? I can't remember now. That was pretty interesting as well. So yeah, this is sort of let me just read it. Homage to Catalonia is the account of, is the account of George Orwell's experiences as a militiaman in the Spanish Civil War, told with all the honesty and bitterness of a fighting man. Only a few months after the events, the book not unnatural. Sorry. I haven't read it out loud in a very long time. The book not unnatural. Oh my word, dude. What is going on with me? Oh my word. The book not unnaturally, there we go, offended the left for the cynical duplicity of the communists backed by Russia in that political chaos called the Republican Spain was enough to shake all the beliefs of one who had seen it in person. So yeah, excited to sort of see, because as I said, this is, as I just read, this is like an account of his experience, so I'm very interested to see him as a character, like him as a person and his thoughts, because obviously Animal Farm and 1984 obviously in some way express the thoughts and feelings of the author, I guess, indirectly, but I'm interested to see in sort of a memoir biographical account, get to know the man, Georgie Porgy. So very excited to read that. This one has my grandfather's name in it. I think my 1984 is also my grandfather. Next up we have not a book but a collection of digital video discs. This is Blackadder, na 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 na. This I kind of just bought online on a whim because I guess I've been really into British comedy, particularly Monty Python, because that was on, I think it still is on Netflix, which is where I watched it. And then I don't know, I just like having TV shows on DVD, and I had seen clips of Blackadder on YouTube, and it looked interesting, and this collection was relatively cheap. It was on sale, so I thought, fuck it, I'll buy it. Rowan Atkinson, everything I've seen from him outside of Mr. Bean, because when I was a kid I didn't really like Mr. Bean that much. I just sort of pressed it off as stupid slapstick stuff. So I have always kind of had this bias in the back of my head against Mr. Bean and that kind of stuff, although now I probably will be able to look at it in a more kind of measured But again, I haven't really watched a lot of Mr. Bean since I was a kid. So, but anyways, everything else I've seen from Rowan Atkinson has been like really good and really smart and really cool. So I'm excited. I'm some amount of the way through season 1, and dude, honestly, discovering the incredible theme music of at least the first season was enough for me to justify the purchase, because it's a fucking banger, dude. Blackadder, na, 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 na. So yeah, very good, very cool. Also, we have, of course, Hugh. Oh, that's another reason why, because I started watching a bit of Fry and Laurie, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie's TV show that they had in the 80s, and I think that also, because they also star in this show, and there's a lot of sort of similar personnel, so I thought, hey, I'll try this out since I know that I find those guys funny. So yeah, Blackadder. Another digital video disc. I got this from my favorite place on earth. Mabu Vinyl is a like second-hand music store that I go to like once a month at least to like buy stuff. So they have like vinyl, which obviously I don't have like a record player, so but I'm really tempted every time I go in there to like buy one, but it's too expensive, so I won't do it, hopefully. Against my my better judgment, not against my whatever. But yeah, they have CDs as well, which is kind of my old wheelhouse, But also have like cool like DVDs like this one, which is Tears for Fears Scenes from the Big Chair, which is a little documentary. I mean, not really a big time documentary about the album Songs from the Big Chair, which I really do enjoy quite a lot. One of my favorites, particularly Mother's Talk and the last track. It's on here somewhere, bro. Dude, the last track I remember so specifically walking around university. Like every time, what's the fuck is the name of the last track, dude? I can even have a fuck me. Oh, I'm so disappointed in myself. Anyways, yeah, I love this album so much. And yeah, this is just mostly like music videos and some behind the scenes stuff. It's not like that extensive of a documentary, but yeah, like for all the music videos, they are like little like behind the scenes stuff that they shot with the dudes talking. And then there's also a concert on here, and yeah. Very fun. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. And also there's an exclusive interview with the producer Chris Hughes, which I haven't checked out yet. I've only checked out the like behind the scenes stuff, so excited to look at that. Soon. Next up we have another play. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, Ordered by Tom Stoppard. So my mind just went blank. Yeah, another play that I've heard of quite a lot, and I'm a big fan of Hamlet as well. And also, I think I sort of heard that one of my favorite childhood movies, one of my favorite childhood films, was it called Lion King 1.5? It's the one about Timon and Pumbaa. That starts with all the meerkats singing that Dig a Tunnel song. Dig a tunnel. That one is kind of based on this, since like Lion King is kind of ish based on Hamlet. But yeah, anyways, fun. I was actually kind of surprised to see that this was in my like grandparents' collection. I guess because in my mind they are like, I don't know, like proper and like fancy. Because I mean, for those of you, which is maybe all of you, My grandparents passed away when I was really young. I was, I think, 4, so I never really got to know them. I have memories of them, but I never really actually like got to have like an intelligent conversation with them. So a lot of like what I think about them and what they would like are informed by the kind of books that I see. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool that they all, because this is obviously a more kind of comedic, fun kind of thing. But yeah, I guess, I mean, my grandparents were people too, so I'm sure they enjoyed these kind of works as well as the kind of more serious stuff. So yeah. I have a bookmark in here. Oh, I did start reading this. I'm on like page 12 so far. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Very fun, very cool. Next up. We have a new book. Phantom of the Opera. Another Collins classic. You know me, I love a good Collins classic, especially when it has a tasteful cover. I'm glad that they went with a rose here. I'm hoping my autofocus is working here. I'm glad they went with a rose instead of like the picture of the Phantom's mask. That would have been a little passe for my taste. But yeah, I like the rose. Yeah, it's a nice size. Again, I dislike that in the Collins Classics printings they don't have like the chapters on the top left and top right. They just have the author's name and the name of the whole work, which I guess is not that bad for a novel. For like a short story collection, it's really way more annoying. But for a novel, it's like not that bad. But yeah, I've read this quite a bit. I'm on like the 20th page. Sorry, so what happens with me is like I'll take a book worth. The reason why I'm like 20 pages in, like 10 to 20 pages in so many of these is because I will like go out, like for example with this one I remember I bought it and then like that weekend I went to do my laundry, which it's like a self-service laundry place. So I sit there for like 30 minutes while the laundry is going, then another like 15 minutes while it dries in the tumble dryer. And in that time I'll try to read, and sometimes I get distracted and just listen to music. So yeah, anyways, I'll take a book worth that I want to read and then I'll start reading it, and then I'll have the bookmark there and then I'll forget about it and it just like sits around here until I pick it up again. So that's what happened with this, and with freaking Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this, to read more of it. I have listened to the musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I think it's really fun. I've watched the 1925 movie adaptation, which has Lon Chaney Jr. in it, which I really, really enjoy. It kind of, I guess, because whenever you see like a picture of the Phantom, like either from like musical productions or even like the 2004 movie, I really dislike that. Oftentimes he just looks like a very chiseled, handsome man, like square-jawed, like obviously like a good-looking guy that just has a mask over this part of his face. But he just has like a Zuko scar, basically, is the insinuation. But the thing I love about the 1925 movie is that he like legitimately looks like scary and like creepy when he has the mask off, and the mask, like, it's just really cool, and I enjoy that more kind of horror take on it, which I think is closer to this rather than the kind of more romantic thing that happens in the musical. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. It's been on my reading list for a very long time, so very excited to continue reading. I guess we'll save the best one for last. This is a fucking dishonorable mention. This is easily the worst purchase that I've made probably in my life. So I've heard a lot about Godot, the German writer, and I've heard a lot about the sorrows of young Werther, and I've wanted to read it for a while. And I saw this online, and I thought, fuck it, I'll buy it. But just everything about this is so fucking terrible. I should have returned it, but now I guess it's actually a pretty good. Well, let me tell the story first, and I'll explain. So, firstly, I don't know if you can see all the pictures. This is firstly a stock image of this very famous painting, which the name is escaping me now. And a stock image is like fine, the Collins Classics do that, but this is so fucking pixelated, dude. Like, what? And you probably can't see it. It's just so pixelated and like amateurish and terrible. And also the picture of the man himself on the back, you also probably can't see, is extremely pixelated, which is just so ugly. And also, like, look how thin this is, man. This looks like a comic book. Like, it's just so bad. And the print is also huge. It feels like I'm reading like a children's book, man. The print is huge. Like, this could have been, because it's only like 100 pages, right? They could have made this a tiny little, like, fun, like this kind of form factor would be so good. But yeah, this is just a terrible cheap printing. Also, the cover is terrible as well, because it says, like, there's this unnecessary repetition of information, which is just really annoying. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, look at this. Oh dude, look at this shit. I'm pretty sure this, like, blurb is just taken straight out of like a Wikipedia page or something, because look, it has a cross reference here, one, but obviously it doesn't reference anything, which is just very lazy, very terrible. Yeah, but I should have just returned it, but now it's way too late. But what I will say is it is a good, like, conversation starter, because there have been multiple times now when, like, a friend has come over and I'll be like, dude, let me tell you about this fucking terrible book that I have. Terrible printing of a book, not the book itself. I haven't read it yet. I am not gonna read this, even though I have it. I will find another printing somewhere to read The Sorrows of Young Werther, although from what I've seen, it looks like he's just kind of sad about a girl, which is like not my vibe. I'm joking. I wouldn't judge it so harshly upon just reading like a few sentences, but yeah, I'm not gonna read this. I will find a better printing of it and read that there. But until then, I kind of just want to rip it in half, but I won't. It's kind of just a funny object to have, as I said. Decent conversation starter as well. But yeah, I hate this with all my heart and soul. However, I do have another piece of Goethe work that I just wanted to check that I was still recording. That I can read if I want a little taste of the guy's writing. In the meantime, we have Faust, part 1. Again, I found this in my grandparents' old collection. Yeah. Faustian bargain, very common, idiom, turn of phrase. And I've always wanted to, explore the origin of that, which is, of course, well, maybe not this, I know. This is just Goethe's take on a known myth of Faust, from what I understand. But maybe the most famous one, or one of the most famous ones. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this. I don't have part 2, but because this is just part 1. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So yeah, some Goethe redemption. I can't remember if I got this, if I found this or got this book first, but anyways, at least I have some Goethe work that is, in a nice format with a nice cover, nice, small enough words so I don't feel like a child reading it. And last of the pièce de résistance of this whole. This is the Petra Boys versus America. This is so basically a photographer and a journalist followed them around on their first tour to America. And this is just documenting all of that. And it's really cool so far. So you have great pictures such as this of our boys, of the wonderful Chris Lowe and Neil Tennant. I don't know where I'm pointing, of Chris Lowe over here and Neil Tennant over here. Yeah, it's very cool. And also, so the pictures are great, obviously, and the cover picture is great as well. With having Chris taking up the main sort of action, where you have Neil kind of in the background, which kind of opposes the usual way that they present themselves, with Neil being kind of the front man and Chris kind of being in the background. So yeah, very cool. Also, like the excerpts are mostly just like the writing, the journalist part are mostly just like excerpts of like conversations that they had, and it's been very fun and very funny so far. So yeah, I kind of prefer this kind of thing to like the kind of like Netflix documentaries, concert documentaries that are really common. Although I understand most people would probably prefer that, but I kind of like this, It's cool. And also like very cool pictures, all black and white. But yeah. Look at this fun one. Look at the great stash on that guy, dude. Anyways, yeah. You're really loving this so far. Great. Like top tier coffee table book. I do not have a coffee table, but if I ever do, this is going to be on it. And then, one that I forgot about. That is also, that was under the big one. Also pretty good. I actually don't remember if this was in a video before, but whatever. Leonard Cohen, let us compare mythologies. This was really expensive. It was like 300 rand. But so far I feel like it's been worth it. Yeah, it's just a collection of Leonard Cohen's poetry. And yeah, dude, they're all so incredible. It's crazy. And it was published when Leonard Cohen was 22 years old, dude. I'm 24 and I haven't, published anything, so, but whatever. Yeah, I love Leonard Cohen. I love his music. And so, funnily enough, his first album was released, Songs of Leonard Cohen, when he was like 30 or 31, and before that he was like a writer. Obviously he published like this book of poetry, and I think maybe some novels, I'm unsure. But yeah, interesting career path for him, publishing poetry first and then later on getting into music. But yeah, Nick Cave, another guy whose music I enjoy, was quoted as saying, utterly unique and impossible to imitate, no matter how hard we tried. Yeah, his writing is just so great, and his poetry is just so... One of my favorite things to do is just, and I've done this, is like just go into a park and just read poetry. I know it's like the most kind of typical hipster thing to do, but look, man, I've just accepted that I just am a typical hipster. So, fuck it. I'm just embracing it. And yeah, so wonderful. One time I went hiking once, and I read this like on top of like what was it? I guess it was kind of on the side of a mountain, and I just felt like the coolest being that has ever lived. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed this book haul and the lighting. This video probably got a lot darker as time went on because the sun is starting to set. But anyways, although that might help if you want to try to go to sleep, because the video gets darker as time goes on. But yeah, I will make videos more frequently, I promise. Bye.